Greetings and blessings. I greet you with the honor and the love of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. And I am humble host, David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I wish to welcome you all. I thank you all. Um, you all subscribers and members of the Soul Tribe and of the League of Like-Minded Beings, and all of you spiritual beings that are seeking. Hello, greetings, blessings. We got a thunderstorm in the area, and it's been touch and go around here. We don't really need. It's not like we're out of rain, but with all the showers around, it would have been nice to have gotten at least a shower. And now that I turned on the computer, there's a thunderstorm like just north of here. So anyway, I'm going to go on anyway. The what I have realized over these last several weeks, it's been actually cumulative over several months and um, YouTube and putting some things on Facebook, but it has been a spiritual journey for myself, and I know I use myself and my personal things that happened to me to try to explain, because it's not fair for me to use somebody else unless they allow me to tell their story. And in some cases that's true, but generally speaking, here lately, especially after our dear friend Brian passed over, um, we have all had a different glimpse of life, if you will, and spirit. Another thing, too, for me, the video I did yesterday, I believe, um, I learned that a dear friend of mine passed away last week. And, so many folks that I know, a sister with breast cancer, a dear friend who's half my age, who's, not too long for this realm. And it seems to have brought and also um, the candle meditation that I did, uh, going on 2 weeks ago now, 10 days ago. I realized that we are connected, but something else has happened recently. And I'd like to share it with you, if you will. And that is that it seems to have gotten stronger. Now, that meditation, the candle meditation, and subsequent conversations, when I discussed doing a meditation at the top of each hour for a minute or so, and how we can keep ourselves in a more constant awareness of that which we would like to meditate on, or that which we would like to pray on, or whatever. Chloe, I see you over there. And Candy Apple, hi, how are you? I felt like there was somebody out there that was bored, where I was sitting here like, I'm sort of watching Star Trek, but that's an everyday, anytime event. But it was more about, I've been thinking about the Soul Tribe and all of y'all, basically. And that was a good one. Maybe it's actually getting closer. We had a humdinger of a thunderstorm about 5 days ago, maybe 4 days now. I lose track. But the idea, though, that and it doesn't, for me, it's been cumulative in that the connection to spirit seems stronger. Subject to every day. It's called life, and we just do the best we can. Now, I think that for some of us, I know for me, and I've noticed other folks, it's like at my old age, I can use old age as an excuse, but that only works up to a point for me. And here recently, I just haven't had the get up and go that I really want to have. But it's been flipping hot outside. The heat index has been 101, 104, you know, and today was fairly middling, but yesterday just kind of rocked me around in my socks. So the first thing I wanted to do was to feel guilty, and I thought, no, that's not going that ain't going to work neither. And then I immediately went to the Soul Tribe, and so I was going through my morning prayers, if you will, and going, and sort of reflecting on what was discussed yesterday and me and the helmet, just trying to poke fun, but seriously, folks, other than it being heavy, I could put plastic in it or something and walk around in a store. That to me would just be humorous. Just stand outside of Walmart with it on. But anyway, make a statement, make a point. Anyway, I used to be that person, to be that crazy, to do something like that, just to not necessarily for attention, but anyway. But in that, I was in all of this process, and today I was realizing it feel the my bond with my spirit guide over the last couple of years, the last 6 months, with all the different trials and tribulations, and asking for, correct information, and support and help and so forth. And my connection, what I'm sure is my spirit guide. There was some faulty information a few months back, but that seems to be rectified. Um, the connection which we meditated on for everyone, better connection with spirit, somehow yesterday, yesterday I did 2 videos, but both times it felt like I was in the room with, hey, Robert V, and Candy Apple, Chloe. Have to put my glasses on. Oh, Fox Rodriguez, hey. You just saw the light pop up. Yeah, I did it about 15 minutes ago, and I was like, wow, this is sort of late to. But I was sitting around and kind of sort of bored. But I've also wanted to share what I'm experiencing now and have been, is that after that meditation, um, sometimes it takes a little while for things to settle in. But my relating the loss of my friend the other day, and y'all pitching in and coming on, I just wanted to make a statement about that. I realized that each one of you and all the people that I've met are all part of my life experience. And how, if I could leave a legacy, well, I get to take a little, versus what am I going to leave behind? It's like, wait a minute, but what is the gain out of here? It's always is it a win loss? What am I going to leave behind? Who's going to remember me? Does it flip and matter? And so, where it used to matter, in that I wanted to write a book or a play, and I've done that. It wasn't highly published, or it didn't sell a million copies or anything, but there were hundreds of people that saw us perform some of the stuff. And whether I go down in the history of, there were people that knew me from Tennessee to Tampa with puppets and things. So, and I was known all around the state of Georgia, at least from around Macon, a little north of Macon and southward. Too snooty up there for the Atlanta Center for the Puppetry Arts. I wouldn't donate my collection. I don't know who's going to get my collection when I go, but would like to try to do something about that before I go. But the idea, though, that we don't never really know from one minute to the next. But that's not my point of this video. This video is that how important each of us are to this community, to the soul tribe, not just for me, but with yourselves and the interaction with between yourselves and your community together and so forth, you know. And I highly applaud that. I do. I think that, you know, that that's important. And so, partially in this discussion about the tribal community, I thought for those of you who didn't really, that there's going to be hiccups and weirdos everywhere you go with the contrary point of view. So if you think that every tribe was just in every community, okay, it's sort of human nature. Somebody's boastful, somebody's this, somebody's that, blah, blah, blah. Always somebody wants to be, you may be the chief and like but the chief was not necessarily the boss. And not again, there was in the tribe, everybody had a part, but at the same time, everybody and not doing what you should do, and just in helping everyday life, whether it was cut wood or help with the fire or cook or tend the kids, whatever was necessary, you had to contribute. So um, and as the older people got older and couldn't run and do the hunting and stuff anymore, and weren't near as strong as to be able to stretch hides and do all that, but they were able to fix moccasins and tend with the kids and keep fires and do other things. And some folk, you know, so the idea though that if you got older you moved up because you're still alive, because that was hard to do back in them days. So the fact that you were still alive after Indian raids and buffalo stampedes and lightning strikes and fires and droughts and hunger, and the fact that you made it over 50 years old was like you really did something. So the idea though that you made it through so many winters, as they would say, is a remarkable thing. So that helped get you your prestige simply because you'd made it through 50 winters. Whereas now 50 is nothing, blah, blah, blah. We don't get honor our our parents or uncles or anybody, you know, honor them anymore. You know, personally, their family issues, and you know, as much as I have, you know, apologized and got on my hands and knees, I'm not being honored, and I'm going to leave it at that. But it's okay. I still have to give honor back, whether I receive it or not. Part of the lesson of the whole thing. But the idea, though, that it's more important for us to seek others, members, league members of the League of Like-Minded Beings, right? Tribal members. But in this tribal membership, we all have a say so. There might be, I'm just going to say there are 6 elders and a chief, just because. It could be more, could be less, just this is just a story. So there are 6 elders and a chief. Now there's the medicine woman, and there's probably a medicine man, and they have similar things, but not. There may be the Heoke, which I have been professed to be a Heoke. And so it's that spirit. And if everybody's spirit was really high, Heoke came in and said, glad y'all are having a good time, but don't forget they're hungry people, and clean up your mess when you're done, or whatever. Try to bring people, you know, keep a balance in there. And I realize in my lifetime, yeah, I have fit that without trying to be a Heoke. I just am. So, and I don't discuss it much. There are some people who feel like you're a Heoke. The medicine men who told me I was. That's how, you know. But anyway, but in this community of thought, so we all got together and did a candle ceremony. We all got together and we had some common thoughts. And I felt like the other night when I was talking about meditation, that just because we were all together, we were meditating. And I got done and I thought, now that's just a note, if you will. That's just a curious thought, you know. Um, hmm. So simply because our collective was collected at that time, and because I was tossing out ideas and we were all thinking, speaking, discussing, some folks on whatever idea that was being brought out there. But the general idea of trying to get us all to connect better, not just between us, but with the universe and for ourselves, you know, it just seems like I can feel a difference. Now it's very hard to quantify. What do you mean by it feels different? It just does. But I thought I would share this with you. But back to the tribal thing, I go to certain powwows and there are certain people, you 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 go hello or whatever or wave, and there are whole stories told just in exchanging glances. And it's been the most phenomenal thing I've ever experienced. And I'm like, and a year or so ago, I did a video about the stick, the walking stick, and the importance of it, and what happened during that day, and the other people that I met, and so forth. And because of this virus, I missed this last spring. But you know, maybe in the fall they have it twice a year down there. But just hanging out and sharing a drum, and just because of the people. Um, but with that said, though, within the tribe there was harmony within the people, and of course there was, I'd get pissed off about something and this and that. But I've been to powwows where there were several teepees, they call them lodges, you know, several large lodges. It was winter time and we were in a lodge over here and there was a bigger one over here. And me and my daughter, it rained, oh my God, and the smoke filled up the lodge, and it was some of the weirdest and strangest stuff. But we had a with these lodges and everything, if to live in a lodge, number one, you got to be a different person, you know, to go stay in a teepee for and camp out for the weekend, but stay in one for a week, stay in one for, you know. And we were doing 2 or 3 weekends in a row, so we weren't staying entirely in it, but for the travel and the setting back up, and then we were back in. So wow, that was weird. Some extreme lightning going on. But anyway, but the idea of the community, of the people that you knew, and all you had to do is just smile at them from, you know, across the field or the way or what, you know, the parade ground or whatever. And you just waved and they would give you this, you know, or Hawkeye, or, you know, and you knew because you have known these people before and the energy that surrounds some of these folk, some of them not so good, and you know to avoid them, and they don't come around you anyway because they don't agree with you. So there was some full bleed Indian who back in the day, 15 years ago, many have changed their mind now because their children are no longer able to be within the tribe, which I just think is silly. But the idea of a pure blood versus someone who does, I can't really say who my grandmother was and what her, she was half Cherokee, or my great grandmother, or my great great grandmother who was full bleed Cherokee. So, but the idea though that it doesn't matter so much how much of it is in me, it's the fact that it is. That's all to me, because it's the feeling, you know, towards the natural thing. So within a tribal community, they know what being in a lodge means. They know what camping on the ground and weaving baskets out of straw and grass, and They know what it's like to build a fire, and the temperature is 28 degrees, and they get up and I go outside and build a fire like it was nothing. There, you learn to be hardy. You know, it's like, yeah, it's cold, but you just shake it off and say, Great Spirit, warm me up, and the day's coming open. So, and I've seen it like just be 30 degrees and snowing, and some of these folks just, they're not bundled up at all. I mean, they've got clothes on, don't get me wrong, but it's not like they're all, got ski suits on and all that. No, no, far from it. And they're just, happy go lucky, and they're in touch with stuff. And it's sort of like in the Himalayas, there are monks that only wear those saffron cloths, and folks that go see them are all, decked out in big parkas and stuff. And I have done the same in the wintertime. Better in the winter than I do in the summer. I can strip down in the wintertime and be plumb happy. Uh, that was nearby. But anyway, but the idea of tribal community, it was very important. And if you've done something wrong, I mean, here's one thing: you're brought up with honor. So I've often wondered, and then I found out that the kids and the family and everybody's in the same teepee. Well, if mom and papa want to do a little snuggling, everybody else just kind of rolls over. It's sort of they're having their private moment over there, or and tent, sort of, yeah, but it's not like this dirty, some kind of built up anything anyway. But there is a respect and an honor both to the people who are doing it and whoever. But at the same point, it's like, oh, so you two were in the teepee. So you have were you both warm under the blanket? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And because you can hear between teepees, so a little bit of laughing or giggling or something, so is like, oh, they were doing the nasty, or no, it's a have a good night. Yeah, you got a smile on your face this morning, and I looked around and thought, now this is just flipping different. I mean, I'm sorry, I've been around carnies and and gypsy types and all my life, but being around Native Americans, I was like, this is just a big family, and they're not, they don't come up and go, so how was it? No, they were just like, you're happy this morning, aren't you? Well, yeah, okay. So, uh, um, I'd been going to several powwows, and I was up in Tennessee. Now, you got to understand that this is a very embarrassing thing. So I'm there to do puppets again, and it's cold. It's in November, right? Over Memorial, not, no, Veterans Day, 11, 12, like that, right? So we're doing Veterans Day powwow up there in Tullahoma, Tennessee, and it's cold. I mean, it's 28 and sleet sideways. Now we're staying there in one of the lodges. Went down to the local subway on that Friday night after we did our afternoon show with the school kids and everything. Got back to the teepee, to the lodge, and at Central Time, which we came out of Eastern, it's a so 6 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock. Well, at 5 o'clock it's dark. Okay, I mean dark like it is 6 o'clock in the wintertime here. So I get back to the teepee and I'm like not feeling real well. Well, now here are the teepees way out here on the edge, and way up here important because whatever I ate I started getting the Jolly Roger runs. Honey, let me tell you. So you tie the teepee door shut to keep the wind from flapping it open. Well, so I got to get out, and I got to make it from the teepee all the way across. It's 100 yards easy to the outhouse. So I'm like, oh Lord, have mercy. Oh, So I'm going to undo this and do this. Out I go, and I'm trying not to like run because I'm afraid to run because. So I'm headed across there, and I know I'm not. You're not. Once the circle is blessed, You're not supposed to just run out there and walk across it. You're supposed to, go around. Well, by going around, I had to skirt the edge of a lot of these other tents, not teepees, but um, vendors and so forth, right? So now it's really starting to grumble, and I got to get there. It's a little almost past due, right? So I pick up my pace, and I used to be a quarter mile runner, right? So I picked up towards that portage on. Well, Lord have mercy, I got there just in time. And so I'm headed back. After getting rid of some, I'm headed back across the field, right? And I get almost to the lodge, bend down to untie it to go back in when I got to turn around and go right back the way I came. So here I go, just literally boom, 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 across the field and around the edge and through the vendors and jumping over hay bales and back to the commode. Oh God, I'm not feeling well, right? So okay, I got some stuff back at the teepee, if I could ever make it back there. So now is I've been there twice. Now this is my third time back across the. So I'm headed across and grumbling and not saying anything and didn't know that half of the tribe there was watching me. So I get back into the teepee, close the door, and I mean I lay down and it back up. I literally dove under the flap of the teepee. I didn't even bother to open it. I was out of there and across. I forgot about the circle. I was like, Creator, you understand? I got to make a beeline. It's got to be a straight line. So I made it back over there. Oh my God, that was the last time. And I weakly made it back to the TP, and I had some type of Imodium stuff that I always carried on trips. And I was like, oh man. So I get up the next morning, right? And the sun's just coming up, and they've got a fire going there with these teepees. And I didn't scream or holler or cuss or anything when I was running. I didn't say a word as I was headed across the field. And I woke up the next morning and go, so these guys are big 6'2" Indians, big brawny guys going, so Hawkeye, um, we all have decided to give you your Indian name. And I was like, you all are going to give me my Indian name? Like, this is a big deal, right? The community and everybody, yeah. Uh, so they were like, many of us saw your escapades last night. And the other was like, yeah, you can run pretty fast in the dark. And I saw you over that bundle of hay. That's pretty good for an old man, And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah. So they decided that they would call me for short Running Man. And they had another, it was men men who walk men who run at night or something like that, but from TP or something. And so, but from then on, they knew me as Hawkeye. But as a they'd go, hey, Running Man, how's it hanging? Because they had been, I mean, they must have told people about this, but the story kind of grew. And so within the community where I may have been real true story, but the fact that they took my pain or whatever and decided, and this is like my third or fourth powwow. This wasn't my first time, right? And I went a couple of times later. We did about 6 years in a row. But anyway, so, but the fact that they decided amongst themselves to give me a name, and so my nickname then became Running Man. And so I was like, saw me there, and they saw me be there every time and at other powwows, and many of the vendors knew me from southern powwows and other places. So it was a family. It was a tribe of folks who, not everybody was the same at every powwow, but there were many of us who had met at one powwow and would go, oh, hey, how you doing? You guys, good to see you, eh? So some of them were Canadian. Many of them were from up north. There was some Blackfoot tribe and Blackfeet tribe, and there was a northern drum from Minnesota, and they were really good, and some good fellas too. I mean, they drive all the way from Minnesota down to Tullahoma just to drum, and if they made any money for gas to get back, or if somebody bought them dinner or lunch or something, but they drive all the way down, drum for the weekend, and then go back. Anyway, to me, that's dedication, you know. But they were part of this. They were part of the tribe, the powwow tribe. So in knowing other people from, you know, some folks were from Pine Ridge, and some were from the Cherokee Nation, and some were from down here in the Muskogee Creek, and some were, you know, from. I knew several Navajo. I got to meet an actual code talker one time at the Marine Company, and I asked the dumbest question, you know, and I was like, oh man, I just, wow, you know, I just insulted that man. And I apologized right away, but um, he, just with his eyes, he told me a story. And I was like, oh my God, it's true. You know, some of these elders and so forth, all they have to do is, if you're thinking a certain way, and I know you're picking up their vibes or whatever because you're nearby, which is important about having this discussion with y'all, is that I knew his story. He didn't have to say a word, and he just looked at me and said, "What do you think?" And it was in that look, and there was a thing that came with it, and I was like, "Oh, I understand. I see. I'm sorry." You know, and to me, that's where the power is. Heavenly synchronicity. The power is that he was able to convey with a look, and sent me a mental picture that was a whole story and images, and oh, um, I was blown away and felt really bad for having asked a stupid question. And but so the idea, though, of the tribal and of the tribal community. So there's an understanding with the people within the tribe, and so you don't have to like everybody all the time, everything. But when you reach a certain part of harmony, whatever that glitch, that other person you might not necessarily like, because you're in harmony with the other stuff, you just respect that they're different. And one of the things that I've noticed, it's very, I never, with the people that I thought really mattered, nobody boasted. There wasn't somebody, they say, well, he's in charge, go see him. And I'd go see the person, and he'd go, well, they put me in charge, but I'm not the boss, but I kind of sort of, but anyway, we're all the boss here, and what do you need? And I'll help you here. And it was like, what? So he wasn't like this, you're going to do like I say, and you're going to, and I was like, wow. So I said, if you need anything, and then I come to find out that the word had spread, and I went up there to get some coffee, and they were like, oh, you're Hawkeye, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. And I said, it's really good to be back here again. And they were like, listen, we know you're keeping us, so you don't have to pay for your coffee. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not working here. Here, take my money. No, you don't know. They told us you didn't have to pay for coffee. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I go to pay for the coffee. She takes $1 where it's like 2 or 3. And I put the rest of the money in the tip jar, and I go, ha 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 ha. You're gonna get some money from me one way or the other. It's my privilege to help out in any way that I can while I'm here. You folks are lovely. But in that, it spread, so other folks would come up and go, you know, that's the guy with the walking stick. He knows Kashka, the storyteller, and he's a storyteller. And I'm like, okay. I never broadcast, but they all know. And somebody knew me when I did puppet show and storytelling up in Tullahoma or in Tifton and so they were like, yeah, that's Hawkeye. And I was like, okay. So there was sort of like an unspoken respect with people I didn't even know. There was like, hey, come on in. Yeah, you're the guy that gets the free coffee. Uh, I mean, what? I thought I'd sneak in when one lady wasn't there and, and just buy some coffee. She was like, oh, no, I was told not to charge you for your coffee, Hawkeye. And I was like, I didn't ask for it. I did not ask for it. All I said was, I will help you all in any way you need. I'll keep an eye out. We were camped out near where a sort of gate was and near the parking lot. And the guy asked me, he said, look, do me a favor if you're sitting out here. He said, keep an eye on the parking lot. And I said, oh, no problem. I said, and used to do powwows and talk with the main guy, right? And I said, yeah, we'll probably be sitting here most of the time anyway. We just like sitting out and enjoying, and we'll walk around a little bit. And I said, of course we'll keep an eye out. Well, that led to free coffee. And I was like, but, you know, anyway, so the respect and the honor with a good tribal community, it doesn't matter what your rank is or whatever, but if you're helping versus just, somebody off the street that came for the day, nah, we're going to give you some free coffee. Now, how much does it really cost them for some free coffee? But that wasn't the point for me. I'm willing to pay for my coffee and still help out. It was free camping for the weekend. I mean, what? No, I got free camping. I'll watch the park. It's not that kind of thing. It was just to make sure that some people, weren't trying to sneak in behind those within the tribe. If someone in the community, the tribal community, stole something, man, it was like a really big deal. You talk about shun and wanting to hurt somebody, but the biggest thing that they do in the shunning is that you could have asked. And if you were going to steal it from me, I would have rather given it to you, because you disgraced yourself, and in doing so, you disgraced that which you stole from me, and thus you've disgraced me. I would have rather, just said, okay, if you come up and say, look, I'm going to steal this from you if you don't give it to me. Being rude, but to the point, though, that what else will damage or whatever, and some would say, well, that's just, walking over someone. But it's also to the point of, if someone likes something that you made or whatever, um, but now if it's a $500 item now, I mean, but if it's a necklace or a stone or something, you have to kind of like, well, maybe spirit really wanted them to have it, even though how they got it, they're going to be cursed with themselves. So, but in the tribal community, the honor is that your TV can be open, your stuff can be laying out around, and you got blankets and everything. And if it comes to rain and you're not nearby, your next door neighbor will roll your blankets up and put them inside and put the cover down. And you would do the same if it was vice versa, or you help each other. And there's never ever, hey, go get my tent. They already got it. They're already there. When we were setting up our tents there, the last time we were there were 3 people that come over and said, oh, tent like that. How'd you get yours up so easy? And I had learned a trick. I'd practiced in the yard. And so by telling them the trick, they were like, here, hand us a stake. And so they had my tent staked out in like 2 minutes. No, well, but you don't have to. No, we got it, and these people were just walking by, watching us set up the tents, and were amazed at how quickly I got mine up. And they were like, well, that's a really neat trick. We'll have to try that, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so, but they had our tent set up, which it had only took another 5 minutes, but there were 5 of them. They just pitched in, and all the stakes were in. So in the community, if you see somebody else and you go over to help, hey, what can I do to help? It's just, well, you don't have to. Well, but I'm here, give me a couple stakes. Okay. That's the tribal community. So with doing these videos and connecting with you all, I feel recently how it's just changed. It's altered slightly in that it's almost like maybe I got my wish in that um let me put this to you like this. All right. So I got enough voices in my head to keep me busy for a while. I'm rarely bored. Uh, but now when you connect with folks on a level, it's like my my friggin' Big John that I talk about, who's the EMT, and he really is. He's 6'2", and I got a chance to Facebook him the other day and make a connection, and that's a reinforcer. So I sent something out on Facebook where I haven't been there in 10 months, and now folks are like, "Wow!" Even somebody in theater. I was thinking about her the other day, and I was like, "I wonder how she's doing." And come to think of it, she sent me a note in one of my posts and said, "Gee, Mr. Dave, glad you're still around. We were just talking about you the other day because I put her in one of her first plays that she was ever in, and gave her the chance. And then the next year we did the same play again, and she came back and did that role again, much more mature. And she went into drama, and she did this. And her mother said, "I don't know what you did to my daughter." And I said, "Potential in her." And so to this day, she still remembers me. So after sending that little thing out, "I will remember you when I'm gone." She's part of that conglomeration because I know that I was the first person to see the creative spirit and how good she could be. And Miss Camille, oh my goodness, and she was great, and she became more positive instead of being shy, and then she came back the next year and did her role again, even with more vigor and more confidence. And so I'm remembered because she told me so. So it's like, and then my friend Forrest, who's a youngin' of a friend of mine, we played music together, and he used to stay out here when his dad lived here with me for a while. And we used to do music and get high and just have a good time. And Forrest had a bad break in when he was going to school in Orlando, and he literally got up, cut. I think he was stabbed and shot. Some people broke into their apartment because they had some high end sound equipment, and because he was going to school for um, sound design and mixing boards, and not just a DJ, but for movies and your course. So anyway, but he was hurt, hospitalized, and could have damn died there for a short time. So, and he was only like 20, 21 years old at the time. But anyway, but we had made that same kind of connection along with Big John and along with Camille and along with that person. So after not being online for a while and them wondering, I wonder if Mr. Dave's still alive, those folks touch base with me and go, I was thinking about you the other day. I'm glad you're doing okay. And Big John sending me a note and a picture, and Forrest sending me his good luck and a picture and a thumbs up and all. And I'm like, wow. And then another person showed up and, wow, Mr. Dave, glad you're still around. And so whether or not I have, it's proof back to me simply by these folks that I haven't been in touch with in almost a year are saying, "Wow, good to see you're okay." And my one of my doctor friends that I did theater with, he was like, "Man, I really miss working with you and doing theater." And we did. We had some of the best times singing, dancing. We came up with a little dance routine in one of the shows we did, and we was over at his house and doing the shuffle shuffle dance dance. And he's from Brooklyn and a doctor, surgeon. He saved quite a few lives. But and he's Jewish, married a Catholic girl. But but we've had some sporting good times, and we have been so funny together that the audience just peed their pants. I mean, he's just so fun to act with and react with. He left me out on stage. He was out back smoking a big ass stogie cigar and left me on stage for 2.5 minutes by myself. I had to make up lines. I had to make up my I was ad libbing shit left and right. And they had to go. I could hear him go down the hall out the door. And he was out in the parking lot smoking a stogie instead of being backstage for his cue. But he thought I would kill him. And I was like, you're going to get yours. So the next night, which was the final night, he didn't like anything in his mouth. And arsenic and old laces was the play. So he had to sit in this chair, and he didn't like anything being stuffed in his mouth. So we talked about this. Well, so in the last act, the lights come up and he's tied to this chair, and I'm the police chief or sergeant, and I have a handkerchief, and I'm supposed to just lightly tuck it in his mouth and talk for a minute and pull it right out so he's not in any discomfort. Well, when the lights came up that final night, and I put the rag in his mouth just before the lights come up, he realized that I wasn't going to take it out right away. And I just chattered on, and you could see him trying to spit it out. He was tied to the chair for real. And I'd go to take it out, and I'd pull my hand back, and I go, no, maybe you need another minute. And some of the people in the audience knew what I was doing, and the cast backstage were rolling on the floor because they knew this was my payback to him. So, but anyway, it didn't hurt him, and I took the rag out. And the audience died because a lot of them had been there before and sort of knew what the story was. But anyway, so Eric Lehman and I, we've had a good time and a lot of good laughs and made a lot of people laugh, and that warms my heart. But see, within the theater group, there was also a tribal sense. Some of us connected and some of us didn't. There were those people who were like, oh, it was fun to act with you, but there was no lingering connection. Now, many of the folks that I had these good connections with they're all dead. They've all passed away. Some wonderful, funny people. Oh, if you only knew. We're well known here in this area. And one of the gentlemen played Santa Claus for every year, and Ron Shank really looked like Santa Claus. But in this community of these members of like-minded beings, you connect through music and spiritualness, through theater and the acting and the reacting. And when you do something together and people laugh and you share this, and because, or make them cry. But I was much more for a comedy than although I've did some real tear jerkers and had to be some really mean characters. But the idea, though, that in order to put a show together, everybody's got to come. Those folks who are in powwows and who are Native American mostly, I don't mean full bleed, but they've got at least some Native American in them. Now, there are folks who marry into it, and so by association, but I've seen very few people who married into Native American who they themselves didn't have something about the earth and, doing beads and lacing or metal work or stay in a teepee or a tent or, that kind of lifestyle is like the gypsies of old days. And you may have modern convenience, but you're still in a tent, basically. That that Running Man thing back and forth to the portage on that. I felt like hell the next day, but everybody supported me. They were like, Hey, running man, you okay? No, I'm serious. Are you okay, Hawkeye? But, it was the greeting. And now I had become part of the tribe, and it was like, wow. And everybody treated me a little different. They saw something that they knew how that was to have to go and go and go and go. And so at the vision of these people kind of standing around the next morning as I poked my head out of the teepee and was greeted with this group of Americans. Good morning, running man. I'm sorry, but in that, even in our private moments, that's what sort of brings us into family. So they took an embarrassing moment for me and turned it into, hey, look, man, we get it. You're part of us now. We're going to give you your Indian name. And I so with that said, we all have our own Indian names, if you will, and that's what's written in the chat room there. And I'll look at it here in a minute. The computer is way off, and I got the camera sitting way closer. But anyway, and I really can't see. Project Skyfall's high, Twisted, David Castle high, and oh, there's one I can't pronounce. Yoda Blick. I've got to get my glasses. They're over there somewhere. But anyway, greetings, everybody, and hugs and so forth. So, but with this, holy crap, I've been at this an hour. So I don't have to scroll up. I will put, let me say thank you to Bob and to all of you all out there. Thank you, Bob. Let's have some coffee. I've been at this an hour. Dang, you guys. So I can get up here and read what's on the screen at least. Oh, I'm going to pull 2 cards. They want me to pull maybe 3. Who knows? But so stick around for a minute. Twisted. Okay, Amanda's in the house somewhere. Okay, let's see. Oh, I can't. Tribal sense like me longing, feeling to be a part of that crowd. Yeah, I love you too, Twisted, and I cannot pronounce that. That's um, you're from over yonder somewhere. Yang, I wished I knew how I could pronounce that. But anyway, Russian or Ukrainian, blessings and greetings. Always a good time with me, huh? Hey, Maverick, how are you? Teresa, for the record, cannabis doesn't help either. Fox Rodriguez, we can pray for my Aunt Lee, a mother of 3. She is in critical condition with COVID. Fox Rodriguez, if she is, if you can find out, make sure they're treating her with extra zinc, the hydrochloride, whatever thing, and a Z pack, especially because people are being saved down here in South Georgia with this combination of stuff. And I'm saving folks in the nursing home with this. So check in, but zinc is the high doses of zinc, for whatever reason, it doesn't like it, the 19. And the steroid Z pack thing is a stronger pack. It's like, one's really strong, like 500, and then 302 or something. Anyway, it's like 500 for 4 days. They really kick it in the butt. But then the other thing is that hydrochloro, whatever it is that has been mentioned so many times, and that's what's been kicking them. Plus bed rest and water and hydration. But to the point though, make sure they're saving people around here with that. So make sure if she's in bad health, well, let's please pray. Um, um, if you can make sure that's, if they're giving her some other kind of stuff, anyway, hydrochloroquine. Yes. Yeah, right. That's the one, Maverick. Don't worry about spelling, the fact that we understand There's proof among the community of, of sick folk that it is working and has worked. So we'll send out. All right, everybody, in about a minute or two, we're all going to take 1 minute and send a prayer out to Cousin Lee. Okay, so we know we can do this. So give a minute or so. Let's all just take a second. And I like to collect my thoughts before I just try to randomly send something out there, just so it's effective. But, let's all send a good prayer out about now, everybody. Okay, take a minute and just send a good thought out for Fox's cousin Lee. May she feel the healing and the healing from the universe. And may the doctors granted the wisdom to use that which is already being proven to be effective. So, thank you. She's intubated and being messed with. Oh, God. I got a friend of mine. I think I mentioned a gentleman who was backing his lawnmower off the trailer from the lawnmower shop, and it fell on him and crushed his chest and punctured a lung and gave him a concussion, and he's in a coma in Tallahassee Memorial. Friend dying of cancer the other day. Now I don't know how long he knew he had it, but it's just like, wow. A lot of people I know close in. I mean, I know, this person's aunt died or that person's second cousin down a ways, but these are folks that I've known for years, and it's like getting close, you know what I mean? And not that anybody's life is, immaterial, but I'm just like, wow, damn. When it hits close to home, you know what I mean? But anyway, like Brian, a common denominator. But anyway, with the spiritual thing with this, yeah, they're telling me get the cards and shuffle. The idea that no, you can't look at the bottom card. Nope. All right, I got the cards here. We weren't supposed to see that card. As a dealer, you're never supposed to show the bottom card. Now a lot of times somebody will take a top card off and flip it upside down and cover the bottom card. But anyway, funky dealers, right? This is going to turn some of them upside down. Whoops. Hang on. I was using the computer as a table. Hey, Delaney Jones. And Subvert. Maverick. I'm a little stoned, but anyway, so y'all pick a card, any card. And we'll see what now. See, I got these things. There's one of these two cards. Where's the camera? I pulled these two cards. And they're saying this one. So, squirrel. Well, that must mean we're all a little nutty. Nah. Now, that's the card they wanted me, but I picked this other one, and it kind of feels, so I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to flip it up this way. Oh, guess what? It's the whale again. Now, if you all were here a couple of card readings ago, I pulled the whale, and it was about how whale has all the knowledge of the earth and of where we've come from, and so maybe that's a reminder that whale came up, but squirrel was the card they wanted me to pick. So, but whale it's still in it. How do I put this? I pulled rabbit again the other night, right? So rabbit's still in the mix, if you follow me. So is whale. So in our discussions of understanding my prayer is seek the wisdom and knowledge and the healing. Um, whale has of the earth and a lot of the universe. So we're all trying to reach the same thing and the higher goals, et cetera, et cetera. So whale comes up as the second strongest card. Now I'll find out what squirrel is, but I'm going to choose another card. Okay, so I'm just going through here and saying, okay, you guys. Sometimes I feel like if it's here, let me do this number right here a little bit. So sometimes I can feel like there's a card up here towards the top where this is right. There doesn't see the bottom card. I don't feel anything. The top card with my thumb, I don't feel anything. And there's a spot somewhere in the middle down about here. No, that ain't the one. No, you can see how I'm choosing these just so it's this one. Yep. And it's upside down. Lizard. Woo. Upside down lizard. Okay. I've never pulled the lizard. I don't think I've ever pulled squirrel. So let's see if there's another one up here somewhere in this top batch. So the whale was an extra. Wait, let's see. You see, I'm just pulling them like I'm feeling the energy on the card, and if there's a message, and does this card, and I can feel it under my fingers. It seems like this card here wants to get yanked, and I don't know which way. They're saying just flip it, and oh, it's an upside hummingbird again, but upside down. Whoa, interesting. An upside down hummingbird. Woo. So now we've got two repeats. We've got hummingbird and whale. Hummingbird was to allow our heart to see the joy, but the upside down part of hummingbird was that we needed to open up our hearts because it was being closed to joy. So interesting. And we've got an upside down lizard. So we've already know sort of what whale means, and I'll touch on whale as I go, but let's find out what squirrel. Here, let me. Let's hope that the doctors are treating her well as well. Squirrel for the sake of numbers is 26. Interesting. Lizard is 36. That is 10 numbers away. It's only how they're listed in the book. I don't think there's any other magical number to any of that or anything, but let's see. 20. Yeah, we got to do squirrel. Now the interesting thing is the other day when I was going through this, I came across the book opened to squirrel, and I was like, no, but that ain't the one. I think it was the night we were doing badger. So anyway, I got to change glasses. These are the wrong ones. Oh, this is the question I wanted to ask because you all were talking about it probably maybe when I was yammering on for an hour. Here's a simple question. Do any in this community in the last week or so feel any different after the meditation? Squirrel, gathering. Well, gathering. What are we doing right now? We're gathering. That's just kind of like right in your face right there. Squirrel, you have gathered nuts by the score, exactly predicting if you'll need more. Teach me to take no more than I need, trusting great mystery to harvest the seed. Now, I was just talking about how, the tribal community in and of itself, nobody stole from one another. If somebody had enough, they always shared it. The weak folk got they didn't get the tail end of the food. They got a good piece of the soup. They got fed first because they fed all the children. They spent the rest of the tribe. And so it's the tribe's responsibility to feed them back, not shun them to the side and not take care of grandmother or grandfather. It's an honorable thing to be a grandmother or grandfather, but not these days, at least not in my book. At least not for me, is what I mean. Squirrel teaches you to plan ahead for the winter. Guess what's coming? When the trees are bare and the nuts have long since disappeared, squirrel medicine can come in many forms, as this furry critter is very diverse in nature. The erratic behavior of squirrel has best. Oh, yeah. You got to know how to squirrel hunt. And it is thus stands to reason that there are benefits to being able to circle a branch at lightning speed. Behavior of squirrel can also get nerve-wracking if you are dealing with the persons who have squirrel medicine. Trying to calm them down enough to accomplish something may drive you nuts. The gathering power of squirrel medicine is a great gift. It teaches you how to gather and store your energy for times of need. So when we gather together, are we storing energy? We're sharing it. And so Teresa says, yes, more connected. We feel more connected. So the trick would be then we are part of the gathering. Okay. As a community, we are all gathered here together to have a prayer, so to speak. So the gathering of squirrel is medicine is a great gift. It teaches you to reserve something for future use, whether it be a judgment. Listen now. It teaches you to reserve something for the future, whether it be a judgment. In other words, I'm going to reserve passing judgment on this person because they're acting like a fool. An opinion, a savings account, candles, or extra food. To put it in a nutshell, squirrel is the Boy Scout of the animal kingdom, also prepared. In today's world of changing times and fortune, it is the wise person who prepares for the future. Now, this book was written quite a while back. Let me see if it's got a publishing date. This is copyright 8. Okay. So this, when it talks about in today's world of changing times and fortunes, this was written 98, 80, 30 years ago. Oh my God. So our prophecies have all spoken of the end of the millennium and the changes to come. Squirrel is a friendly medicine to have in light of possible future rainy days. Its message is to be prepared, but not to go nuts with it. And I've been trying to say, we got to keep our wits about us. Love yourself enough to gather the goods that will meet your needs in times of scarcity, even if that time never comes. So I've always said, we have to be careful with what we expect. We just do the best we can, and sometimes Great Spirit gives us stuff we weren't even working on. Somebody will call, somebody drop in, something. If Squirrel has scurried into your cards today, it may be that you are being told to honor your future by readying yourself for change. The message could be to lighten your load if you have gathered too many things that do not serve you. You know, that clutter and the brain attic and old anger or things that do not serve you. These things can worries, pressures, stresses, or gadgets that have been broken for years. In understanding the balance involved in gathering, you need to look at the idea of circulating the stock of what you have gathered. I've been doing this, by the way, myself. Call the nearest thrift store and give the gadgets to someone who can benefit from them. Already working on it. If something no longer grows corn for you, then it is time to let it go. But this also means thoughts or deeds or actions or idiosyncrasies that just aren't necessary anymore. Squirrel has another lesson which can aid you if you observe what is obvious. Squirrel has another lesson which you if you observe what is obvious. And I made us have talked about recently, and also like on Facebook, I said a thing that, if you want to know the truth, sometimes you have to understand it if it's staring at you right in the face. Then sometimes it's obvious, but you're not looking or you're not paying attention. And so you have to be, you have to look what's obvious. And the other side of the coin is with our own selves. I realized that I have an addiction, and it's to this fan right here. If I'm out of this fan, I'm sweating like like a racehorse, and because hogs don't sweat. But the idea, I'm like, oh man, I got to get over here and get that little bit. But it's summertime and it's hotter than crap. But anyway, I can't wait to turn that damn thing off. So Squirrel has another lesson which can aid you if you observe what is obvious, and which can prepare you for anything. It has to do with the safe place in which to put your gatherings. This safe place is an untroubled heart and mind, and that which is gathered to put in this place is wisdom and caring. I'm going to repeat that last. This safe place is an untroubled heart and mind, and gathered, meaning your energies and so forth, etc., to put in this place is wisdom and caring. The energies gathered will set your mind and heart free so that you will know that all will be taken care of in its own time. Apply this to your fears about the future and they will vanish. What does, we brought up rabbit yesterday again, yeah. And rabbit's all about fear, calling to the hawk to come and eat him, and if hawk don't see him, rabbit calls out a little more. Now, contrary to this, squirrel is a whole, this is part of my issue that I'm working on to get rid of things. Waiting for something to happen is the trap. No action equals stagnation, but a little of squirrel's erratic energy might get things moving. If squirrel is hanging upside down on your branch, you may have begun seeing the world through hoarding your thoughts of abundance so that fear of scarcity takes hold. You may ask yourself, 1, have I denied my ability to produce enough space for abundance to enter my life? 2, have I denied my connection to the Mother Earth from whom all things flow? 3, moving too fast, have I taken on the erratic nature of squirrel without having any focus? We're so worried about finding something that we may already have it. 4, am I leaking my energy on worry instead of gathering power through being prepared? Just mentally, Remember, one of the squirrel family gathering the energy of eagle and connected to the great spirit. Now this squirrel can fly. Remember, one of the spirit. Let me start over. Remember, one of the squirrel family gathered the energy of eagle and connected to the great spirit. Now this squirrel can fly. You've heard of flying squirrels. Rocky and Bullwinkle, my goodness, yes. But to the point though, so for me, some of this, the contrary, is I gathered too much stuff and there's not enough, I'm not making any corn. There's just too much, there are too many farm implements for me to plant anything, is sort of the way I look at it. So there you go. That's squirrel. So are we being too erratic so that we can't see? But that remember that squirrel medicine, one of them learned to fly. That's very hard. Never read it. Right on cue. Man, whoever's working the soundboard tonight's doing a great job. Lizard, number 36. Dream. Travel across the stars, beyond the place of time and space, there live visions from afar. Duggar, my friend, just calm down, all right? It's going to be thunder and lightning. He'll be in my lap shortly. Dreaming, number 36. Lizard sat lolling in the shade, in the shadow of a big rock, shading himself from the desert sun. Crawled by, looking for some shadow to coil up in and rest. Snake watched Lizard for a while as Lizard's eyeballs went side to side behind his enormous closed lids. Snake hissed to get Lizard. Snake, you scared me. What do you want? Lizard cried. Snake spit his answer from his forked tongue. Lizard, you are always getting the best shadow spots in the heat of the day. This is the only big rock for miles. Why don't you share your shade with me? Lizard thought on the other side of the rock, and you must promise not to interrupt me. Well, Snake was getting a little bit annoyed. Oh, Snake, you are such a silly serpent. I'm not sleeping, I'm dreaming. Well, Snake wanted to know what the difference was. So Lizard explained. Dreaming is going into Snake. Oh, dreaming is going into the future, Snake. I go to where future lives. You see, that is why I know you won't eat me today. I dreamed you and I know you're full of a mouse. Snake was taken aback. Why, Lizard, you're exactly right. I wondered why you said you'd share your rock. Lizard laughed to himself. Snake, he said, you are looking for shade, and I'm looking for a shadow. Shadow is where the dreams live. Lizard medicine side of reality where your dreams are reviewed before you decide to manifest them physically. Whoa. Let me read that line again. You ever licked a lizard? But anyway, lizard medicine is the shadow side of reality where your dreams are reviewed before you decide to manifest them physically. Now, that's just dadgum interesting right there. Lizard could have created getting if he had so desired. Lizard is the medicine of dreamers. Whether dreamers smoke you or dream you, I guess cloud your mind. Dreamers can always help you see this shadow can be your fears, your hopes, or the very thing you are resisting. But if it is always following you around like an obedient dog, if Lizard dreamed of space in your cards today, it may be time to look and see what is following along behind you. Is it your fear, your future trying to catch up to you? Or is it the part of you that wants to ignore your weaknesses and humaneness? Lizard may be telling you to pay attention to your dreams and each individual symbol or reoccurring pattern. If you do not remember your dreams, you could try setting a music alarm for 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., and you could try drinking a lot of water before bedtime and allow your bladder to wake you up. Dreams are very important. Pay attention to them. Well, if I sleep for 3 hours in a row, that's like a lot of sleep in a row for me. So, but how the Native Americans used to get up so early in the morning and everything, they used to drink a crap roll of water before they went to bed. They had to get up. That was their alarm clock. Now, the lizard was upside down, but consequently, this could go either way. So, but anyway, so the contrary, if Blizzard has turned up in the contrary position, may be having a nightmare. This is a sign of inner conflict. Look to the nightmare for a clue to the nature of this conflict. What are the feelings your nightmare causes? Breathe through these feelings and let the sensations flow out of your body. See the truth in what your nightmare is suggesting. It could be the simple message that you are confronting your fears and therefore do not need to experience nightmarish events in your day-to-day life. Another message of Lizard Reversed is that you may, more sleep or dream time. It could also imply that you have a lack of dreams for your future. Imagination is the door to all new ideas and creations. As you examine the dreaming process, you will find that the subconscious is processing all of the recorded messages it holds concerning the events you experience during the day. These messages can be suppressed feelings, bringing inner conflict, or they can be new ideas or goals, other dimensions of awareness, future events, warning signals, or desires and hopes. Since Contrary Lizard is insisting that you look to your imagination for new experience. This is necessary when life becomes dull or full of boredom. Many of us are having a little bit of cabin fever. Yep, I am. On the other hand, contrarianism may also apply to those who dream too much, refusing to use the dreams as tools to manifest that same vision in their lives. All levels of awareness are accessible through dreams. Remember, life is not always as it seems. Are you the dreamer or are you the dreamed? That's interesting. So we've got two new ones in the house, and I'm going to briefly go over whale because it was a hard second to squirrel. Uh, Whale, of mighty oceans you have seen it all. Secrets of the ages are heard within your call. Teach me how to hear your words, how to understand the very roots of history of when our world began. Whale is the record keeper. Whale is very much like a swimming library. Whale carries the history of Mother Earth and is said to have been placed here by the ancients from the Dog Star series. Whale saw events that led to the settling of Turtle Island, which is North America, and has kept the records and knowledge of the motherland alive. It is said that Mu will rise again when the fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on Mother Earth. The native medicine people are waiting for this event as the next signs of the earth changes. Earth's children will have to unite and honor all the ways and all the races in order to survive. Now, we keep talking about this as part of this is what I want out of the my part in the soul tribe is that we we find our connections, we strengthen our connections, and we keep our connections, and then use our connections to the good of other beings, not just humans, right? Because we got to understand this universe is more about just us silly little humans down here on this planet. It just is. So it teaches us to use the sounds and frequencies that balance our emotional bodies and heal our physical forms. To recall why the shaman's drum brings healing and peace is to align with the whale's medicine. The drum is the universal heartbeat and aligns all beings heart to heart. Before the advent of speech in the primordial language, hand signs were used, and many tribes were silent most of the time. Remember, I talked about earlier when you could just look at somebody and they would just like send you a whole story with pictures? The language that was understood was the sounds of great spirits, other creatures, the animals. If you pulled the whale card, you were being asked to tap into these records. Okay, this is the second time for whale, and many of you have been a part of this. So that means y'all, we need to tap into the whale energy. We need to tap into that sacred energy, and what I'm always praying for, right? Now, y'all saw me fiddled with the cards, so um, we are the only creatures who do not have our own unique cry or call. Find yours. Allow your voice to use this sound to release tension or emotion. Whale signals a time of finding your origins, of seeing your overall destiny as coded in your DNA, and of finding the sounds that will release these records. You may never be the same again. After all, you are the melody of the universe, and the harmony is the song of the other creatures. In using your voice to open up your memory, in using your voice to open up your memory, you are expressing your uniqueness and your own personal sound. As you open up to this uniqueness, the animal that you are, that the animals that are your nine totems may then send their calls or sounds to you or through you. This will open your personal records so that you may further explore your soul's history and commune with Whale, who carries the history of us all. So, we needed to go back over it. And that it came in as upside down. So there's that little mouse, you scrawny little devil, you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Get out of there. Dadgummit. Me and that mouse gonna have to argue. Now, chewing on the wire and stuff, not a good thing. I'm sorry. If a mouse would just be you know, chew a little bit into, but anyway, I've found that he'd been chewing the back of some of my electronic stuff, and that will not go. Sorry, rodent. But anyway, right there, you little bugger, you. He run across my foot the other night, like to scared that, you know, I had to pee early that time. But anyway, so tonight the message is squirrel, maybe running around too much, but that we should use the squirrel knowledge and to gather. But the first thing the squirrel says is not to gather too much, gather just what I need. So we need to, and as a group, we are gathered here together. So the gather our collective thoughts. We're gathering the energy together to keep the lights lit in the universe, if you will, with all the negative that's going on out there. So, and the understanding through whale um, that we need to keep working with it, and with the lizard being dreams. So we need to either dream more, or some of us need to dream less and focus, and it depends on, I know that there are times when I'm too much of in a dream state. And there are times when I just can't fight it. So they take me off places, and I spend a day, in a dream state where I would prefer to be doing something else. But if I was with the heat index outside, if I were to do something else, it could be harmful to my health. So, maybe they're saving me the heat. But oh man, the smell of rain hitting that tin roof. Well, anyway, listen, I thank you all for hanging out with me. I just thought that this idea, the tribal, and needed a little bit more discussion. And I know in my heart that we are making a difference, and that we need to have the faith. And I mentioned this the other night, but it kind of comes back to me. We're each a pin put, an LED Christmas light. And when all the lights are lit, they're just tiny little lights, but the whole tree glows, and not so an effervescent light, but anyway, depends on how many lights are on the tree, right? But the interesting part is though that as we as the community and as the soul tribe and as folks join us, then there's another light that shines. There's another point of light to the universe. And there's another link that we can all share and go, haha, there's another light. We got another person on the string. And when we don't hear from each other once in a while, if something takes us out or away, but we can also think about, like we did the other night with Milikow, and he showed up in the chat a couple of days later. Now, if that's not some kind of synchronicity, it proves to me that, was he listening to us? Did he hear us say, wonder how he's doing? And he just decided to show up in the chat? And whether or not, it doesn't mean we're listening into each other's thoughts. But I have noticed that there are more lines open, if you will, like Teresa and Michelle and, David Castle, Project Maverick. I mean, all y'all, there are times I'm like, now I can't tell if y'all were thinking of me at the time, or maybe that we had discussed something in the chat. I don't feel that important, but it's maybe the subject that we were discussing, right? So, and in that respect, I'm in that connection. So, and because we all discussed it and we're a part of this journey tonight, our gathering tonight isn't just a meditation. We all meditated for Fox's, cousin Lee. So then we are uniting and we are a part of this. And so, hey, we are that soul tribe. And the community is important. So I was thinking about that tonight earlier and going, well, they were kicking me and they're going, you should do a video. And I'm going, I did 2 of them yesterday. And I did one the other night. Now, these folks don't need me yapping all the time, and getting on here and talking about, what the hell am I going to talk about? And they were like, well, talk about the soul tribe. Talk about how important this is and the differences that I have felt. So here I am. But with that said, though, I really, I was like, yeah, you're right. There is a difference. It's hard to explain, but I can just say that, yes, there's a difference. We're all melding together in our own little ways. And this is just, we're having coffee and a donut and sharing our thoughts. And so as part of the gathering, we've sent good energy to the universe. We've sent prayers out for healing. And I'm sorry, but I just can't find anything wrong with that. I just is like, so if I'm the chairman of the meeting committee and it's I do a video and we all gather here, then I'm good with that. It's a common meeting place and y'all can chat about what you want or send me a topic. We'll discuss that if you want. But in that, I've been in tune with some stuff, and it's just like tonight it just seemed like somebody out there, didn't know who, needed me to do this video and have a chat. And I'm like, I was bored with watching whatever, and I knew the rain was coming. So I was like, well, okay. So here I am. When I didn't want to. I was like, nah, they've heard me yap enough recently. And but then I was like, nah, but it's more than that. It's not about you yapping. It's about the fact that they can come together as the community. I'm being used as a portal of sorts, and need to understand that myself. Whether I have anything to say or not, it's a place for you folk, us folk, to gather and be a part of this, of the gathering of the community. And if nothing more than you just say hi to each other, and well, Dave's going to rap on about some shit today, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? He's going to tell a story about, about whales. Or now I do have a dolphin, a porpoise story, but um, man, being out on the ocean, on I think it was a 14-foot styrofoam sailboat, one of them little day skiffs things with a single sail. Out there sailing along one day, and I seen some porpoise, just off, not dolphin, but porpoises, and similar family, but not. And I'd always heard that if you slap the water like this with your hand, just flat on the water, that they would come. And I'm sailing along all by myself off of Carabel Island out there on the Gulf side, coming around in between the two islands in the pass there. And I'm sailing along, and I was like, I wonder if it'll work. And I just slapped the water a couple of times with my hand. And before I knew it, those porpoises, they were ahead of me, and I didn't catch up to them. But I slapped the water, and I looked around, and I slapped the water again. The next thing I knew, one was on either side of the sailboat. And I mean, could have touched them. And I was like, holy crap, it's true. And they looked at me like, is everything all right? I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Thank you. And boom, off they went. But I mean, within a minute of slapping that water, they were right beside me on either side of the sailboat. And so it's like, man, whew, there's been so many experiences with critters in the wild, but I've always considered it a humbling experience to boot. That bear didn't eat me, even though I had, Reese's peanut butter cup on my lips. He, left me alone, or she left me alone, I should say. We think it was a her, but anyway, the idea though that so many times, snakes, almost stepped on a moccasin almost put my hand on a moccasin one time. It should have, oh God. Anyway, and I had a dream about that moccasin the night before, and warned my friend, guess who, Serge, the one that passed away recently, about the dream. I said, man, there's a moccasin down. We got to be careful today. And sure enough, and it almost bit me. And that thing was 10 foot long, and moccasins usually don't get over 6 or 7. An 8-foot moccasin is a really big snake. This one was bigger than 8 foot. It was just huge. But anyway, so the idea though that, my swamper friend is actually gone. Well, it not in spirit, but anyway, I don't know if I'll ever find anybody that damn crazy to go in the swamp with me. Come on, there's got to be somebody out there that'll go swamping with me before I die. Might just have to be me and the dog again. Who knows? Anyway, but the fact that, sitting here and having this little powwow and just doing a live stream, and you guys can come and go as you please, as you do, and chat it or participate. But it's the tribal community. That's what it really boils down to. It's how do we feel together? So in doing the meditation and then having the conversation, and tonight, it's sort of a reinforcement, if you will, in that these things are happening with us, between us, as a group, as a unit, as a tribe, as a league, however you want to look at it. And so let's just continue this without any particular, well, we do have a particular goal in mind. That's to shine our lights as bright as possible to stave off that negative energy. So it doesn't have to be a specific thing. Or like tonight, somebody was here, needed a prayer. We were here to be able to join together and send out healing to this person. So this is a group meditation just in that respect. So do we have to light a candle? Do we all have to get real quiet? Because we're interacting, and because I'm sort of directing the topic, if you will, but we're all still mind meld distance. We're still connecting. So in that, we are in a high state of meditation because we're communing together in this as part of the gathering. Does that make sense to you? Because that's what Spirit was telling me to get on here and tell you guys tonight. So y'all better be paying attention. Y'all better be paying a damn attention. They send me out here to do this work. The least y'all can. All right now. Holy mackerel, it's been almost 2 hours. I tried to read as quick as I could without stopping and doing. Let's see who's here. Twisted, Truth in Me. Oh yeah, Bob's been a little funky, but we got thunderstorms here, so we could have the lights go out at any minute. Well, Truth in Me, if you're eating, you cannot talk. Well, we can't hear you anyway, but I can hear a little clicking on the typewriter. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Discord, I will be traveling at the end of August. Vision blurred. Ween, butt cramp, o'clock. Yes, it is. Project Skyfalls and everybody up. Okay, so I want to get out of here with this, and before the storm really hits and the lights might honestly go out, and which will mean the computer will glitch and the phone goes out. But yeah, it will. Yeah, it'll shut down the Wi-Fi. But anyway, so I love you all. Thank you. And remember, and as I think you do, but for anybody who feels like they're not a part, tell them come join our little tribe, our little family of folks, just to hang out, just because. And if any of y'all have a topic or something you would like for me to discuss, let me know. I'm always open to the universe, and they're all the time cramming shit down at me to have discussion with y'all. But if you have a question or something that you would would like more input about or more discussion or whatever, this is a group thing here. I know I'm the moderator, but that doesn't mean that we can't share, because it was y'all's opinion that I do the candle meditation. So I'm following the guidelines of the spirits and from you all. So listen, thank you. Be careful. Be kind to each other. David Castle, Teresa, Project Skyfalls, Truth in Me, Fox Rodriguez. I know there are more of you folk out there. Thank you so much. Your subscription means that you care about the universe. It's not about me. Your subscription to this channel means that you wish to become a better spirit being, and that you're connecting with all of these other folks in the chat. And if you watch this after the fact by yourself, know that even if you didn't watch it with us live, you're still a part of our family. You are still a part of this, this group. And so this isn't, the idea that we can't stay connected isn't just limited to the live broadcast, by the way, but your participation, whether this is live or not, is still participation, because it's sort of like, regardless of the hour that you meditate, if you keep this idea of a 1 or 2 minute meditation at the top of every hour, or as many as you can, depending on your situation, that so you might catch it at the same time somebody else is doing it at the top of their hour, and they might be at the other side of the planet. So it might be 2 o'clock for you and 10 o'clock for them, but it's going to be the top of the hour. See, doesn't matter what hour it is. So it'll be a focal point of time. So my point to that is with this video and with other videos, regardless of when it's watched or whether you participate or not, you're still participating because it's out there. Drop that, drop a pebble into the pond, not take the ripples back. So we continue to put out good information. We continue to put out as much good vibes and energy as we can. I know you all are. David Null has this on lockdown. Have what on lockdown? Snacks were very yummy. Now I can make that clicking sound. I know you were like, and I had greasy fingers earlier, so trying to wipe off the thing, I was like, the computer was going crazy. Maverick, favor, prosperity, and abundance. Thank you for all. And G Ant, Guy Ant. Oh, I love to see you out there. Project Skyfalls. Yeah, I'm so glad for each and every one of you too, Maverick. I mean it. That's the only reason I came on tonight was for you guys. I mean, seriously, I was gonna go be bored doing something else. No, I'm not bored. That's not my point. I was just like, man, they've had enough of me. They really come on, give them a break for crying out loud. But anyway, but in doing that though, we're just having coffee and visiting. So I love you all and be careful, okay? So there's a lot of crazies out there, but remember, regardless of whether we're really on or the live stream or whatever, we're still participating. We're still connecting. We are connected. I don't think now that any of us could really sever the connection as part of the group, I mean, Brian's not with us physically, but he's still with the group, and who knows? I mean, I know I can't live forever, although I'm hoping another 10 or 15 years maybe, but, we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So let's do the best we can today. Let's send out the love and the honor. Honor. Oh my God. We have to bring honor back to things. And that's going to be the subject of another video tomorrow or the next day or some other time. So I'm going to give you all a break. I love you all. Thank you. Ween, Bob, we thank you. We know things have been a little jumpy, but we got storms down here. And so Brian walks with us. Actually, he's flying, but we won't be too. I don't have to walk anymore. It's bad on my back. Anyway, I can't wait for that for myself, but I can't wait. Let me pull that one. I can wait for that. I'm not ready to walk out of here quite yet, but I'm hoping that if they take me tomorrow, that I've done the best I can up to this point, and that it won't be so bad moving to the other side. I have faith in that since I've dreamed walk so much, but to the point though, it might, who knows, it might be a bumpy ride for me, or we don't know till we get there. But anyway, thank you. And sorry, and I do honestly mean this. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives, and all of your relations will continue to learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe, and continue to reject the constant chaos that is being presented to us on a daily basis. I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept, receive, and share the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe, and that you will continue to reject and learn to keep away the chaos that affects us each and every day. And as that law of three, I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and those that you meet on the street, that you will continue to accept, receive, and share the knowledge and the healing from the wisdom of the universe, and continue to reject that negative energy and the chaos that is being presented to us. So until next time, all y'all ain't, you do have, if you have, wait, let me read what David Castle said. Sorry. You you do. You, David Nolan. If you get a call to make a video once an hour, then I will be here if possible. Love you, brother. All family, love you. Cosmic hugs. Thank you, Truth to Me. Yes, Project Skyfalls. You guys are the best as well. And I'm here for you. Thank you. Um, Maverick says, we got some shit to see first, brother. I don't know what they were talking about. Twisted, thank you all for being in my reality. I love all you beautiful and talented souls. Love, favor, and peace be upon you all. Good vibes. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. And Amanda, thank you as well. I think I missed you earlier. You love my mask. Twisted, yeah. That thing's heavier than the Dickens. I tell you what. But anyway, I love you all. Ta-ta for now, folks, from South Georgia, where it we're getting a little bit of rain, and we could use it. The swamp could really use it. Um, no problem. I love you guys. I do. Thank you so much. Sleep well, dream well, and have a pleasant tomorrow. Till next time, be